Manager and Managing Partner at Doordarshi India Fund. Rajeev, good morning. Thank you for joining us. What's your prognosis? In the medium term, a rate cut is good news, but in the long term, if history is anything to go by, or in the medium term, when I say 1 to 6 months, it's always been negative for the equity market per se. Do you think the same playbook could be at play this time also?
First of all, Nikunj, good morning, and thanks for being on your show. I think to your question, it is always a perennial question, right? How the new information will change the market moves. I think there are a few things that at least we are looking for. One thing which is quite obvious is that the economy in some of the markets that you talked about looks in good shape. And as the boost from lower rates start coming in, we will see those economies improve because of that. How this will ultimately play out in the long term, I think it's too early to talk about because there are too many other variations that can happen. And so for us to really make far out of a prediction is a little difficult. I think some of the geopolitics will also play out. And China, which is a very big economy, and what sort of policy measures they adopt over the next few quarters will also have an impact on how these things are impacting the overall economy.
Right. Rajeev, we hear you're here in India while all the action has been in the US. What brings you here?
Yeah, so I actually am currently talking to you from Goa. We had a conference here, investment conference here, and would be in India for a little while, yeah.
Enjoying the fag end of the monsoon. So tell us, what's the chatter around India with anticipation that it's going to be a September rate cut? And, typically one would see that much like the RBI, world central bankers also choose to follow the Fed. So what's the chatter around India that you're picking up?
Yeah, no, I think India broadly, I think is definitely the flavor of the world. A lot of investments are coming into India. I think domestic investors are also putting in a lot of money. So that's clearly good. In terms of the rate cut and the fact that Fed is obviously now moving forward, I think RBI governor has in the past talked about the fact that they want to stay pat, look at how the inflation comes down. If you look at the recent read on inflation, clearly that has come down. And I think if the agriculture output is good, I think that makes a very strong case for a reduction in the rate by the RBI as well. Hopefully it is this year, but let's wait and watch.
Let's wait and watch. And yes, a lot of interest around India. But what are the big themes to play? What is your visit telling you as to which are the big themes that people should play out in the Indian markets, Rajeev?
Yeah, so actually, as I was saying, I think Indian markets have gone up quite a bit. And so many of the sectors are more than priced for the growth that we are expecting. The one interesting area that we feel has still some legs is the banking and finance space, because I think what has happened is because of the high rates, the war on deposits, and also some recent issues with MFI, where the delinquency started picking up. I think that segment or that sector has got derated a little bit. But I think if you look at the broader things, like in terms of the asset quality, the capital adequacy, and so on, I think that looks pretty good. So I still feel that if the economy has to grow, then there needs to be credit that needs to be provided. And I think the banking and finance sector should be the one that should be benefiting from it.
Okay, and is valuation a big concern around India? Because there's that conundrum that, of course, valuations are high, but this is one of the fastest growing markets. So one is willing to pay the premium that it deserves.
Absolutely. So I think that's absolutely a fair point, which is that what one has to do really is to look a few years out, assuming the growth rate that everybody is talking about, and see if you are comfortable with the valuations. That is how we look at it. And I am assuming that is how most of the investors are looking at it. And you will find areas where the growth rate is going to offset the premium valuations, and that makes perfect sense, in which case I think those will be good opportunities. And in other cases, you might realize that the growth is not necessarily justifying the valuations.
Rajeev, you have a good India stay. In case you come to Mumbai, do visit our studios.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's the word coming in right now on the global